The best thing they say to hold on to in life is to one another. If you're watching me, know that I'm holding on to you and you can hold on to me. Good morning and thank you for choosing to wake up with the CRTV. It's a morning that's starting slowly, but I can tell you it's a morning that is well prepared. It's 3 hours of exceptional moments that we are going to try our best to make sure you get the best of. Right? Let's start up by getting you briefed and what has been happening in and around the country in the past hours. I'll be right back.
Beaucoup de projets sont montés sans études environnementales préalables, ce qui plus tard expose les populations environnantes de ces projets aux maladies. C'est pour limiter ces risques que la délégation départementale de l'environnement, de la protection de la nature et du développement durable de la Benue a voulu informer les acteurs sur la nécessité impérieuse d'obtenir une notice d'impact environnemental.
Nous sortons donc de cette réunion très galvanisé par la maîtrise de ce document qui va nous permettre de suivre tous les projets, quelle que soit leur importance dans la commune, pour qu'ils puissent donc respecter les notions d'environnement.
Dans l'unique exposé qui a sous-tendu les travaux qui ont eu lieu, présidé par le préfet Mamoudou Amman de la Benue, dans la salle de réunion de la préfecture de Garoua, le délégué Minebdet Benue a rappelé l'importance de la notice d'impact environnemental et social qui, au-delà d'un outil d'amélioration de la gestion de l'environnement dans une municipalité, peut élargir l'assiette fiscale.
Ça permet aussi aux communes d'élargir un peu leurs recettes municipales. Parce que, dites-vous bien, ils vont payer quand même quelque chose pour la validation des termes de référents, et ils vont payer quelque chose pour la validation des rapports de notice qui seront rédigés.
4 recommandations ont été formulées, parmi lesquelles le listing des projets qui nécessitent la notice d'impact environnemental, ceci dans le but d'accélérer la procédure.
The special Thanksgiving Mass was offered by the council and the entire community of Bangu in memory of their late mayor and mother, Madame Buchwang, née Ndongomengolo Rosette Marie. Placed under the banner of souvenir, the Thanksgiving Mass was also a veritable reminder to the people of Bangu about what the deceased did for them and their community during her 7 years as mayor of Bangu.
She was a mother for all of us, not only we people from Bangu. Her problem was to gather people to look at their problem and to try to find solution. That's the reason why you can see all this infrastructure.
The mayor of Bangu, Charles Nana, hinted that it was as a result of Madame Buchwang's humane and motherly character that the people of Bangu fondly refer to her as Mevre Siligap, which means the very generous and caring Queen Mother. The officiating man of God, Reverend Father George Mbala Owona, who came all the way from Yaoundé, prayed for the repose of her soul and enjoined those at the occasion to emulate her example. Attended by Governor Awafonka Augustine and other top-ranking personalities from far and near, the event was in prelude to next Saturday's funeral ceremony of the departed mayor of Bangu and mother of Cameroon's First Lady, Mrs. Chantal Biya.
It was an unexpected surprise for these widows in Douala who received gifts from a foundation known as Heal the World Africa. The United States-based foundation seeks to put smiles on the faces of this group of people, often suppressed and left on their own.
I think widows are a class of women in Africa or in Cameroon in particular that the society or the government has not paid a lot of attention to their plea or hasn't given them enough support from the system. I'm a mother of 2 beautiful children, so I can imagine when you don't have a support system, when that right hand is not there anymore, you have to start looking for ways to take care of your kids and take care of your house, schooling, feeding, and so I can feel their pain.
During the event, the promoter and founder Belinda Babila also revealed that the foundation will carry out medical checks and advise the widows on how to take care of their health, a laudable gesture which will forever be engraved in their minds.
We are too happy and we are rejoicing and dancing because even we are not expected to receive rice, oil, sugar, everything. And we are thanking this family. When you bore a good son, bore a good daughter, you'll be happy.
Heal the World Africa equally has as objective to spread its helping hands to orphans, prisoners and the underprivileged in other areas of the country and Africa at large. The ceremony was spiced by some musical artists and comedians from Cameroon and beyond.
La première édition de l'excellence forestière à Ibolova était une occasion de célébration, mais surtout de réflexion.
Il est question pour cette première édition de la célébration de l'excellence forestière, d'abord de rassembler tous les acteurs pour qu'on puisse échanger et discuter, de présenter au même moment nos difficultés, de créer un espace de dialogue qui doit être permanent entre nous et tous les acteurs du secteur forestier.
La finalité étant d'œuvrer pour un changement de comportement dans ce secteur qui connaît plusieurs difficultés.
Il y a l'incompréhension. Il ne s'agit pas seulement des populations qui vivent cette incompréhension, mais parfois même les projets structurants. Lorsque nous exigeons que les procédures soient respectées, on a parfois l'impression que nous retardons la réalisation de ces projets structurants. Et la troisième difficulté que nous rencontrons sur le terrain, c'est parfois l'adhésion populaire.
De la sensibilisation des acteurs à travers des tables rondes radiophoniques sur l'exploitation forestière et le développement local, entre autres. Aussi, pour célébrer l'excellence, une soirée de gala qui a connu la présence du gouverneur Félix Ngelengele, des autorités administratives du Sud, ainsi que de la grande famille forestière, est venue mettre un thème à cette première édition.
C'est la salle de délibération de la commune de Yingui qui a abrité la séance de travail avec les conseillers municipaux en présence du sous-préfet de Yingui, Michael Até, et du maire Laurent Lovett-Banengui. Les participants se sont dit fort heureux de cette initiative qui leur permet de mieux comprendre le rôle des sénateurs qui ont largement édifié les conseillers municipaux sur les nouvelles lois adoptées en 2016, tout en passant au crible les freins au développement socio-économique de Yingui.
C'est une vieille unité administrative qui demande à se développer, qui a les moyens de se développer, mais que la viabilisation en fait de la commune, la vraie viabilisation de la commune, la vraie décentralisation permettrait évidemment aux arrondissements de se développer véritablement.
Les sénateurs du littoral, conduits par leur porte-parole, le sénateur Siegfried David et Tamema Soma, ont longuement échangé avec les conseillers municipaux sur un certain nombre de doléances dont ils ont pris connaissance.
Nous nous trouvons dans une commune qui est bordée de 7 autres communes, mais qui n'a qu'une seule route d'entrée et de sortie. Ça montre l'immensité des problèmes à résoudre.
Nous espérons que nous allons trouver une solution à certains de ces problèmes qui ont été soulevés. Notamment, j'insiste bien sur les problèmes de route. Je pense que nous ferons l'essentiel pour que les projets puissent être relancés et qu'on trouve une solution de manière définitive.
La séance de travail s'est achevée par une remise de dons aux conseillers municipaux, dont constitués pour l'essentiel des formations en informatique qui leur permettraient de mieux utiliser les ordinateurs offerts par les sénateurs lors de la précédente tournée de comptes rendus parlementaires dans le littoral.
Close to 500 persons participated at the athletic walk that marked the start of activities for the 10th Physical Education Day in the South region. Led by South Governor Felix Ngelengele, they covered a distance of over 7 kilometers from the Nkovo ceremonial grounds through the peripheries of the regional capital, Bolova, to the governor's office. Among them, the young and the old, the physically challenged, the visually impaired, and the pregnant.
I'm a pregnant woman, birth. You also need some physical education. So you need to exercise so that you drive away all types of illnesses, especially cardiac illnesses.
Governor Felix Ngelengele has expressed satisfaction at the massive turnout and has called on participants to practice physical education activities regularly.
We need citizens in good health. These are our human resources for our road, our path towards emergence. The main message is that they should do it every day. It should not be once a year. It should be at least 3 times a week.
Guest at the event was a Gabonese delegation led by the Director of Sports of the Wollen-Tem province. Jean-Louis Mezui has said the Cameroonian experience has inspired them to organize a similar event in Gabon as from 2018. Apart from the athletic walk, veterans in the Bolova competed in various sports disciplines to crown the 2017 edition of the Physical Education Day.
This fishing vessel was caught fishing in the restricted area along the Bakassi oil fields and apprehended by the Cameroon Naval Forces during a recent routine patrol.
Our routine patrols off the coast of Bakassi ran into this vessel, the Star Shrimper 22, that is Nigerian flagged, that was fishing in a forbidden area within the oil fields. And so our patrol brought it all the way back here to Limbe so that we could transfer it to the competent authorities for processing.
At the time the trawler was intercepted, over 4 tons of fish was found in the ship with very immature fish, suggesting that even the fishing nets did not conform to standards.
What we are doing presently is a fight against illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing activities in our territorial waters. This particular vessel is a foreign vessel which is not supposed at all to do fishing in our territorial water, which means it does not have the authorization to do fishing in Cameroon.
The offenses of this foreign fishing boat have been rated as grave, with authorities promising to slam the heaviest sanctions on the offenders.
The fine is negotiable. When they come into negotiation, we are going to negotiate it, but the maximum fine will obviously be the offenders.
Such repressive measures serve as deterrents in order to guarantee sustainability in the fishing sector.
Now, what happens when you throw a professional dancer in a slum? This is what you get, freestyle on Hello Cameroon. This is a professional dancer, Sherry Williams, who decided to go through the kids in Kampala, in a particular spot in Kampala, and it gave you freestyle like this one. Just enjoy.
Kata
Professional dancer Sherry William throwing heat in a slum in Kampala. That's what you do, right? You throw joy, happiness. You bring good moments to people who think life is not so shiny. Show them that they are wrong. That's also what we try to do on Hello Cameroon. In a short while, we'll be talking about the Conference of Parties, COP13 this time, and trying to understand more about the steps taken to advance causes related to biodiversity, particularly in Cameroon. But now let's go read the stars. Sometimes it's good to start the day with what the stars say. Some people believe it changes something. Okay, if you're one of those who are talking to you right now, Joyce Abigail is reading the horoscope on Hello Cameroon.
Hello, good morning. We start with the first born of the house, Aries. Good morning. Aries, knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers. It may not be difficult to store up in the mind a vast quantity of facts within a comparatively short time, but the ability to form judgments requires the severe discipline of hard work and the tempering heat of experience. Today, put in a little more effort and mix it up with your experience. Second born, Taurus. Good morning. Never let your head hang down. Never give up and sit down and grieve. Find another way. And do not pray when it rains if you don't pray when the sun shines. Gemini, third born. Good morning. People spend too much time finding other people to blame. Too much energy finding excuses for not being what they are capable of being. And not enough energy putting themselves on the line, growing out of the past and getting on with their lives. Gemini, let it go today, live for the present, and look forward to the future. Cancer, good morning. Cancer, a man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. Remember, more people will learn from their mistakes if they weren't so busy denying them. Leo, good morning, Fitball. A truly happy person is one who can enjoy the scenery of every situation, be it good or bad. To the world, Leo, you may be one person, but to one person, you may just be the world. Virgo, good morning. figure. Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most fools do. A real person is one who understands his faults, accepts them, works towards correcting them, and learn to move forward positively. Libra. Good morning. Libra, everything you're looking for lies behind the mask that you wear. When you give up your own truth to win at someone else's game, at the end of the day, you lost. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. Scorpio. Good morning. Scorpio, your relationships reflect your fears and limits. How can anyone ever give you what you wouldn't allow? Free your heart today and let it go. The best is still to come. Sagittarius. Good morning. Sagittarius, always put yourself in others' shoes. If you feel that it hurts you, it probably hurts the other person too. The happiest of people don't necessarily have the best of everything. They just make the most of everything that comes their way. 10th born is Capricorn. Good morning, Capricorn. People excel and learn Capricorn, not because they are told to, but because they want to. Live one day at a time and make it a masterpiece. 11th born Aquarius. Good morning. Aquarius, do not undermine your worth by comparing yourself with others. Happiness lies ahead for those who cry, those who are hurt, those who have searched, and those who have tried, for only they can appreciate the importance of people who have touched their lives. Last but not the least born, Pisces. Good morning. Pisces, remember, love begins with a smile, grows with a kiss, and ends up with a tear. You cannot discover oceans unless you have the courage to leave the shore. That is it as far as your horoscope is concerned. But then we are not letting go of you yet, because we are thinking of those of you who are born on this day. We are saying a happy birthday to you. But then these are some of the details that characterizes your birth date. We talk your birthday love compatibility. You're most compatible with people born under sun sign Leo. This will be an entertaining match between two creative individuals. You are not compatible with people born under sun sign Taurus. This relationship will be stubborn and full of differences. When it comes to your favorable numbers, the number 1. This number stands for assertion, leadership qualities, authority, and courage. The number 3 symbolizes motivation, imagination, and frankness. When it comes to your lucky colors, aqua. This is a refreshing color that symbolizes upliftment, strength, and individuality. You also have the color lilac. The color symbolizes mysticism, confidence, and strong emotions. And of course, you have your lucky day, Saturday, which is ruled by Saturn and stands for the ability to overcome problems and yet be successful. Sunday, this day is ruled by Sun and represents the universe as the creator of everything that happens around you. Now, your ideal birthday gift would be a difficult floor puzzle for a man and a turquoise necklace for a woman. If you're born on this day, those are some of the beautiful details that surrounds your life. Happy birthday, have a blast, and keep watching Hello Cameroon.
Happy birthday and have a blast indeed. If you're born today, it's a special day indeed. If you woke up this morning and you saw persons near you, those are probably the people you should hold on to. In life, don't go too far. Hold on to the closest persons to you. And as I said at the beginning, in life, the best things to hold on to is onto each other. I'm holding on to you, Please hold on to me. You can do that. Now let's stop talking philosophy and get into something else that is much more interesting for our environment. Let's talk biodiversity and the Conference of Parties. We have two persons who joined me in the studio, so let's talk about COP13. In case you're one of those wondering what is COP13, we'll be rediscovering COP13 and the way forward from that in a short while. We have Justice Prudence Galega. Good morning, ma'am. You're from the Ministry of Environment, Protection of Nature and Sustainable Development. Thank you so much for coming on Hello Cameroon.
Thank you, Pochi.
And Happy New Year. I haven't seen
Thank
you since the year started.
I've been sending it to over the years. So watch Hello on my TV screen.
It kind of delays to get here, but we'll get it. Don't worry.
Thank
it's still coming. And somebody who's coming from far away. I'll tell you why I say he's from far away, but he's settled here in Yaoundé for now. He's coming from the Worldwide Fund for Nature, Mr. Sommet Laurent. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you so much for being part of Hello Cameroon. And particularly this morning, you are a breath of fresh air and goodness on the program. Stay with us to discover why in a short while. Now let's talk about Conference of Parties and COP13. I'd like to start with you, Madam Galega. Explain to me what it's all about. There are still some people who are confusing it with other issues that sound like it.
Right. COP13 certainly has been an appellation that has been over the air for the past 1 year, I would think, but it simply means the Conference of Parties. And the 13th means the 13th Conference of Parties. Conference of Parties is an appellation that you would find for any body or organ that brings together all the members of the body. And it's frequently used within the UN platform. And it's a meeting of all the parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity this time. Their 13th meeting, which took place in Mexico, in Cancun, since the convention was established or adopted in 1992 as one of the key pillars of the Rio Convention in response to our quest for sustainable development, and biodiversity was identified as one of those resources that, if used in a very sustainable manner, will sustain our livelihoods, our development, and guarantee the future of the children to come. So this is one of the 3 Rio Conventions alongside the Convention on Climate Change, on desertification. These 3 conventions were adopted in 1992. So this was the 13th meeting since it
Maybe
was
we want to quickly draw a line between the line of difference between COP13 and COP22, or the hell? Because a lot of people, when you say COP13, but there was 20-something already, and I'm like, okay, let's clear this.
Yes, and that's why I said it's an appellation you would hear within many UN bodies. And if we take the example of the 3 Rio Conventions, the Convention on Climate Change, also, all the countries that are parties to that convention have been having their meetings. And this time around in November, they had their 22nd meeting. The Convention on the fight against desertification has also been having its meetings. And so it's called Conference of Parties, and they have several meetings. But sometimes, and maybe today, you will hear me talk of MOP. MOP means the meeting of parties. It is the appellation that is given to the body of a legal instrument that is not of the same level of importance as the convention. In the Convention of Biological Diversity, we have adopted 3 additional legal instruments called protocols. When you hear protocol, it's a supplementary instrument to a main legal instrument, which is a convention in this case. And so the 3 protocols have parties at times that, may not be all the parties of the convention. So they have their separate, a gathering, and that gathering is what we call the meeting of parties. And so today, our interest is on all the convention, COP13 for the Convention on Biological Diversity, MOP 8, the 8th meeting for the protocol, the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, and MOP 2, the 2nd meeting for the protocol, the Nagoya Protocol on Access and Benefit Sharing. These 3 meetings all took place at the same time in Cancun.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Cancun. Mr. Some, what are some of the things you came back with concerning our biodiversity?
I would say even before going to Cancun, I think we have witnessed some new changes of the way of doing business, if I can say so. Starting with the way the ministry in charge of environment actually has get us, the partners, to prepare ourselves. I think they have really opened space for us to contribute to strengthening and making up the positions of Cameroon as part of a larger group, which is the African Union group. Yeah. So I think we really want to take this opportunity to commend the ministry and the government of Cameroon for opening the space for that. And that's actually helped us actually achieve our mission and our objective there, starting with the negotiations on many issues, and I think we'll have a chance to dive into that. But also, in addition to the negotiation themselves, all those side events that are running parallel to the negotiation, but are equally important because there you discuss some specific issue. And I want also to add the discussion in the corridors, which I think help actually facilitate some decisions that have been made. So coming back from Cancun, I think we are certainly well equipped in taking further the engagement of the Cameroon in tackling some of the issues related to biodiversity, and more importantly, the mainstreaming of biodiversity in some of the development sectors like agriculture, fishery, forestry, tourism, you name them.
When you talk about agriculture, forestry, tourism, I keep thinking about climate change and the big debate surrounding climate change, because these things need to be sustainable. You need to be able to farm, to fish, to do all those things in the long run. And I want to ask you, Madam Gallagher, what is the place of biodiversity? Is focusing on biodiversity one way to maintain or to tackle climate change?
Thank you, Pochi. You definitely touch on a key discussion issue on the agenda, and I think this is also important to clarify in the thinking of people. What's climate change? What's biodiversity? In fact, one of the major discussions and outcomes of the the Conference of Parties was the fact that biodiversity is in the core and the heart of discussions in other international processes, and we must look at them in a very synergetic manner. And so we need to use the platforms and the opportunities which these processes offer, because they are linked. The first is sustainable development process. The sustainable development process is central to the UN body. Yet the sustainable development process is that which led to the birth of the UN Convention on Climate Change and Biodiversity, because they both enable us to attain development that is sustainable. And so there was a strong call that in the processes of looking at how countries can alleviate poverty, can carry on development in a way that is sustainable, we must integrate biodiversity. Globally, this is recognized, and therefore it's the same discussion at a national level. How you relate with the very beautiful fruits I see here, which is biodiversity, and we want these fruits not to get extinct because we destroyed the ecosystems where they grow. We used to have a lot of sugar canes in mile 17. We want to be sure that our children will see such large quantities of sugarcane, even though the population in mile 17, and the environment is tripling, and
and feeding on it.
That's it. But we need to be sure that it would also be there. And this is the dialogue on climate change. Climate change is about the impact on ecosystems and biodiversity. So that's the strong link between, even though they are in different processes, but the dialogue is very coordinated, and we need to do that in Cameroon as well.
It's a dialogue that we want to see deepen and continue in the long run. Very quickly though, Mr. Some, somebody like you who is working in the Worldwide Fund for Nature, what is the way forward? After Cancun, what is the way forward for Cameroon?
For Cameroon, I think they are really set up the standards quite high. We can see what came out of Cancun, and particularly the contribution of Cameroon to that. And one of our wishes and hope is that you keep it up going, and then certainly to ensure that you, as you are doing now, this restitution to the Cameroon people, so that they know what came out of there. And also try to work with the partners to see how you take further the resolutions coming out of the Cancun. It's a long journey, but if you don't sit and talk to each other, this dialogue is very important so that everybody can see how he or she can contribute to that.
Exactly. I need to jump in there, and where you said it all, more communication on like this on the issues that were discussed, and networking with any other stakeholder. Thank you very much, Madam Gallagher, for coming, and also Mr. Sommer. Mr. Sommer, you are from Burkina Faso.
Yes.
I mean, your dressing says a lot about it. I like the way you're dressed.
Thanks, ma'am.
And we are actually moving to discover FESPACO, the history of FESPACO, which is a film festival, and Cameroon has films featuring in this festival. And I'd like to know from you, I'm honored to have you on the set today, how would you present Ouagadougou? That's a city that's hosting FESPACO. Wow. If you were a tour guide or tourist guide, how would you sell that city to people?
So this is really, thanks for giving me the opportunity. And I think for those who have never been to Ouagadougou, it's known for certain things, which I want just to flag tell us about. Yeah. First of all, when you step out of the small but beautiful airport, with the kindness of people at the airport, you can easily get a visa at the airport. That's really make a big difference if you have to queue or even send your visa for.
So you don't sweat to get a visa.
That's right. That's the first one. Then when you get into the city, what struck you is those bicycles.
Lots of bicycles.
With beautiful people, beautiful ladies on their bicycle, and so on. It's so attractive and so on. It's a very vivid, and let's move to the eatery.
I will stop you there. On Halo, we'll give you just a tip of it, then we'll send you out. Go discover. So one thing I caught, though, is the warmth of the place and the ladies on bicycles. I'd like to see that, But first, let's go please discover the story of FESPACO. It's told here by Bentley Achunda.
The Pan-African Festival of Cinema and Television, dubbed FESPACO, was founded in 1969 in the then Upper Volta, today Burkina Faso. At the festival's founding in 1969, 5 African countries, Ivory Coast, Niger, Senegal, Cameroon, and Burkina Faso, were represented, as well as France and the Netherlands. This pioneer edition was marked by the projection of 23 films, and 2 years later, the number of participating countries increased to 16, with newcomers like Algeria, Tunisia, Guinea, Mali, and Ghana swelling the film ban from 23 to 40. In 1972, Niger's Omaro Ganda and his film, L'Oiseau Polygame, received positive vibes from the participants and the jury, and he was then voted first winner of the Best Film. Since then, Best Film Awards have permanently been won by directors from Cameroon, Mali, Morocco, Ivory Coast, Algeria, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and the DR Congo. From 1969 to present, FESPACO, a biennial festival organized in Ouagadougou, brings together a large number of film enthusiasts, cineasts, film directors, theatrists, literary critics, and persons interested in works of art, has presently received millions of viewers. The event is characterized by a popular mass audience aspect, which is non-existent in many other international film festivals. Call it Africa's Oscar, FESPACO has as main objective to qualitatively represent the interests of Africa's cinema, promote African filmmakers by enabling them, exchange contacts and know-how with professionals in audiovisuals and film. This biggest African film hub is also an avenue to sell out African culture through films, documentaries, and many more. This year's edition, observed as the 25th, opens this Saturday, February 25, at the Stade du Cadre Haute in Ouagadougou under the theme Training and Professions in the Cinema and Audiovisual. Participants from over 40 African countries will, during their 10-day stay in Ouagadougou, participate in conferences, roundtable discussions, masterclasses, film projections in a bid to help expand African cinema as a means of expression, education, and awareness raising. This 25th edition, to run from February 25 to March 4, will be highlighted by the projection of television series, documentary, short and feature fiction, and African film schools, amongst others. The 2017 FESPACO is therefore a good meeting ground for filmmakers, actors, producers, and all film professionals to chart best ways that will help make cinema in Africa something to dream about.
Thank you very much, Bentley Achonda. You might want to know that there are some Cameroonians making us proud at the FESPACO. One of them is Brenda Elung and her series, Samba. That's a series you want to keep your eyes close to. Now let's talk about one more person making us proud. It's a name you certainly have heard a number of times, and for all the good reasons. Peter Ngu Tayon, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on Hello Cameroon.
It's my pleasure.
All right. Well, you're here because you're launching a center, Tayon Center for Leadership Development. Do you want to tell us about the center?
I want to thank you very much for honoring me. Once more, it's always good to come back to CRTV, you know.
Yes, sure.
And,
it's a house, you know.
I have nostalgic feelings for this house because I was here 22 years ago.
Okay.
But the important thing is that we're starting a conversation which we think should last. And today we're talking about leadership as opposed to management. And businesses have to be led. And we're talking about a world that is overmanaged and underled. So we decided to set up a center called the Tayon Center for Leadership Development to promote the culture of leadership in enterprises and organizations. You know, we've gone 360. We're talking about a world where we need leaders and not managers. And there's a huge difference between management and leadership. But we are saying people should start thinking out of the box and be leaders in whatever they do. And there is this huge confusion. People say everywhere, I'm born a leader. And when you ask people, what is leadership? How did you get a definition which you want to sell? So the Tayon Center for Leadership Development is a one-stop shop that provides what we call soft skills, people skills, to help businesses grow. You talk about performance. You talk about motivation. You talk about team building. And we are bringing that excitement into business, letting businesses to know that henceforth, everybody in the company or in the organization matters, whether it's cameramen in CRTV, drivers, or watch nights in companies. They all have leadership potentials that you have to get out. So the Tayon Center for Leadership Development, we are launching next week on the 9th at the Solomon Tande Monas Foundation. But we will be also unveiling our packages. We've got 4 flagship packages. You have the gold, diamond, silver, and bronze.
That's tailored to suit the needs of
tailored to suit everybody.
Okay.
Our gold and diamond are for the C-suite executives, general managers, ministers.
Top-level executives. So you want to be
who
sure
want to improve their skills. And we are bringing something to the game. They call Blue Ocean Leadership.
All right.
There is now a conversation worldwide about Blue Ocean Leadership, as opposed to Red Ocean Leadership. We're talking about Blue Ocean Strategy, which every manager, I mean it, if you don't possess those qualities, you can't make it. So we are telling them, let them start thinking Blue Ocean, let them start thinking Blue Ocean Strategy. Then we are also having opportunities for mid-career people who want to get into leadership, to enhance, to develop their leadership qualities. Then we also have for the people down there, they are also leaders. You know, Poshi, we just want to let people understand that you can lead from any angle. And the whole thing about leadership has been construed by who is a leader.
Okay. I'm dying to ask you one question, though, because you have a career in in motivating people,
Sure.
in leading people, and in coaching leaders.
Yeah.
What is the key thing that you think is wrong with the way institutions, groups, associations, any form of entity is not properly managed?
Once, and I'll say it properly, the one thing that is lacking in organizations is called motivation.
Motivation.
Empathy. Self-awareness. You know, most leaders today, most managers today are not aware of that. That's the killer. The killer today in most organizations is command control.
All right.
It's what we call command control. And people think it's when you command control that you get it. It's wrong. 30% we've done it. Most staff are disengaged in organizations today. Most people don't come to work. I'll tell you a story. In the whole of the US, 30% of people are engaged in the job. In China, only 6%. In Cameroon, we are not up to 3% of Cameroonians who come to work because they like it. Why? Because of that command control.
Okay.
That is what is overdone.
Command
but we're talking
control.
about inspiring people. Once leaders start inspiring the staff, motivating them, setting directions, you get the results.
Okay, I need to hold you there so that people can come to the Salomon Tandemuna Foundation to discover more of what you're saying. But it shouldn't be command. Don't press a button so people respond. Motivate them, give them the right reason. And I feel like motivating you this morning with something fresh.
I hope so.
You have the choice between...
I would go for the fruit, a little fruit in between.
In between?
Garden eggs.
Garden eggs. How do they call it in your dialect?
Njaga too.
Njaga too. in the Ngimba people, some of them call it angere.
Thank you very much.
So please have some angere, and a beautiful day ahead for you.
Thank you very
And also a lot of success in the center. It's very relevant, and I hope that it goes through successfully. Thank you very much.
And we also hope that we will get the chance of talking more about
of coming back here.
Yes,
Please come motivate us. We like people who bring hope, who bring us a piece of that bread that Christ left called hope.
I think your management is a wonderful thing. I think we'll be able to come someday.
All right.
And raise the spirit.
Okay. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you too.
If you're thinking of stepping out and you're wondering how your outside is looking like, maybe this is time you sit with us and watch the weather forecast. And if you're thinking of going out and you're worried about losing us on the television, please don't lose us on the radio. On the radio, the national station is 88.8. But first, your weather forecast. exactly how your outside is looking like. Now, if you're one who rises early, well, I just want to tell you, today on Hello Cameroon, our talking point is we're talking polygamy. Is polygamy different today from what was practiced like 10 years ago? I keep hearing people say, no, it's no more the same. You cannot put women in the same homes. If that's something that speaks to you, write us on our message line. Now it's 7 o'clock and time for us to brief you though, and Patricia Leba Mutukson is just here. 7 o'clock, news on Hello Cameroon.
Gracious morning and thanks for joining us on the CRTV for the 7 a.m. edition of the news. On our agenda of the day, a ceremony to sign a loan agreement will take place this Tuesday in Nyabizan in the Tem Valley division of the South region. The Chinese bank, through the Exim Bank of China, will make available the sum of 83 billion francs CFA to Cameroon as a loan to finance the necessary equipment to transport energy from the Memvele hydroelectric dam. The ceremony will be chaired by Cameroon's Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Louis-Paul Moutazi. Tomorrow, March 1, is World Civil Defense Day. Authorities in Cameroon are using the day to train people living around disaster-prone areas on life-saving first aid techniques. Moiti Waifo Akonjang visited one of such neighborhoods and now reports.
Getting dirty to clean up the community. These are inhabitants of Nkolbison, a neighborhood in Yaoundé, infamous for tragic flooding.
This river Manzama create problem, disaster in our community here. It was difficult before to cross the river when there's a rainy season that used to carry children.
In prelude to World Civil Defense Day, the Department of Civil Protection has chosen to team up with the community to reduce the risk of flooding.
That situation came from their behavior. So we are here to let them know that they can change their behavior and also change their vulnerability against catastrophic.
Students and inhabitants of Nkolbison have also received basic first aid training.
With the other hands, I hold my hand and I will do this movement. It's a movement like a spoon. The children learn very well. They will diffuse the information inside the family to their parents, and so they can know what to do when there will be an accident.
The construction of a bridge in Kolbison is also one of the activities in the build-up to World Civil Defense Day, slated for Wednesday, March 1, a day which raises awareness on the importance for preparedness and prevention of disasters.
The government of Cameroon has honored the outgoing defense attaché of the U.S. Embassy, Major Thomas Brooks, with the Medal of Knight of National Order of Valor. The distinction is in recognition of his commitment alongside Cameroon in the fight against Boko Haram. Yves Famusa reports on the event, as was chaired by defense boss Joseph Betty.
The bilateral defense cooperation between Cameroon and the United States of America is an exemplary, rich and fruitful one, specifically in the fight against terrorism. It is thanks to these friendly ties that Major Thomas Brooks, Sergeant at the Defense Attaché Office of the U.S. Embassy, is honored at the end of his stay in Cameroon by a presidential decree, raising him to the rank of Knight of the Order of Valor, a move saluted by the U.S. Ambassador to Cameroon, Michael Stephen Hoser.
We were very, very proud today to see Major Tom Brooks honored. He is the military officer who created the program of training and equipping the Cameroonian security forces for the fight against Boko Haram.
The minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Betty Asomo, on behalf of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, explained that it is in recognition and appreciation of actions the U.S. Defense Attaché carried out in peacekeeping operations, a task which the American military diplomat said was challenging.
Mostly I've concentrated on providing training and equipment that keeps Cameroon soldiers alive. So counter-IED training, medical training, armored vehicles.
Major Thomas Brooks returns to the U.S., having acted as liaison between the U.S. Department of Defense and the Cameroonian Defense Ministry.
Bello Buba Maigari has been re-elected national president of the NUDP party, promising to work for the consolidation of national unity and lobbying for credible electoral reforms in the country. He was elected by acclamation during the 6th Ordinary Conference of his party over the weekend in Yaoundé. Moki Edwin Kenzeka reports on the president-elect's roadmap as outlined during the Congress.
Bello Buba Maigari, who succeeds himself, says his immediate battle is for Cameroon's electoral system to be ameliorated, first by bringing the voting age to 18 years, introducing a single ballot, and reinforcing the proportionate electoral system. The NUDP president also proposes decentralization as a sure means of solving the country's development problems and what has been referred to as the Anglophone problem.
We have to do everything to help restore confidence, mutual understanding among Cameroonians. We totally want our country to be one, remain one, and united.
He is also concerned about issues of national unity.
We should be as one man to help our forces of defense and security, help the vigilante organizations.
4 vice presidents will man the Central Committee. 35 members were elected into the Politburo, 220 members into the Central Committee, and 220 to the National Council, which is a consultative organ. Bello Buba Maigari got the mandates of delegates by acclamation. The NUDP, Cameroon's third political party, met in the presence of sister political parties, the CPDM, the SDF, CDU, MDP, UPC, NSFP, among others.
And in news out of the country, Morocco has said in an official statement that it will pull out of UN buffer zone in the disputed Western Sahara territory. Tension in the area flared up a year ago when Morocco moved into the buffer zone, breaching a US-backed ceasefire. The Polisario Front, which wants independence for Western Sahara, dismissed Morocco's move as a gimmick. Morocco recently rejoined the African Union, which it had left in 1984 after the body's recognition of Polisario as a territory's government. And 2 private citizens will be sent around the moon late next year in what will be the first manned U.S. mission since the 1960s and 1970s. The revelation was made yesterday by SpaceX, who explained that the 2 private citizens on a trip around the moon mission will travel into space carrying the hopes and dreams of all humankind, driven by the universal human spirit of exploration. The private launch company SpaceX explains plans to fly them by using a spaceship under development for NASA astronauts and a heavy lift rocket that has not yet been flown. And in sports, thousands of fans of the indomitable Lions of Cameroon and lovers of football overcame the fear that go with crowd gathering in Maroua to kill the streets in celebration of the 2017 AFCON Trophy. The caravan that began a tour of the northern regions yesterday was led by Sports Minister of Sports and Physical Education Minister Bidung Pakt. Ebenezer Akanga is part of that caravan and now tells us more.
This type of effervescence has not been seen in Maroua since the start of the Boko Haram insurgency. On the contrary, the far north region has suffered much pain because of Boko Haram atrocities. Many people in the region have been killed, many injured, while many others have been rendered orphans, widows and widowers by Boko Haram terrorists. Moreover, the strategy of suicide bombings used by the terrorists has instilled fear in the population and made crowd gathering very risky. But this Monday, the population of the far north kept aside fear and came out en masse to commune with the trophy of the Africa Cup of Nations. The mobilization in Maroua was exceptional and it was hard to believe that such a huge turnout was in a region plagued by fear and insecurity.
The expectation was very high. Today it's a reality. That highly awaited COP is here. Population is out massively to see the COP, to see the players who have done a lot to bring in our country this COP.
Despite the difficult security situation of the region, the population of the far north came out massively to celebrate the trophy, celebrate the lions, and show their attachment to the unity of the country. It was also a show of support and appreciation to the head of state for the war launched against Boko Haram. The far north region has had total communion, therefore, with the trophy. The trophy has enlivened the region. By ordering a nationwide tour of the trophy, the head of state wants Cameroonians in the countryside to appropriate it and identify with the victory of the lions, which convey the message that the country can overcome any difficulties if its citizens are united like the lions.
Beautiful images there from Marua, and the trophy will proceed today to Garua. Tomorrow, Wednesday, the trophy will be in Gaundere, then to Betwa on Thursday, March 2nd, and finally to Ebolova on Friday, the 3rd of March. And that's how we saw it on the 7 a.m. edition of the news. To have a gracious day ahead.
For you to have a gracious day, maybe you should start it right. Should I give you some fruits?
Bananas.
Bananas. You might soon have a fight with Bill Titi because
Why?
he's the one who always...
Oh,
actually, he orders for bananas.
When you come, still him, he owes me fish.
Oh, he owes you fish.
He owes me fresh fish. So I can get anything that belongs to him because he's a debtor.
We need to find out that fish story, but that will be for another day. Thank you very much,
You're
Patricia.
welcome,
See you on Thursday. Now let's go discover a new release, a new video from this girl from Mankong. She's called Renise, and it's not Dala Sauce that we are having this morning. The title of the song is Manamu. It's a video that's put together by Ndukong and Tetapong by Yala, and it's really fresh. It's just about a month old. Just enjoy.
Macaroni ma yiki min gunwala. E min gun dobu nu so enyi ma won ya be ma yiki. Min telebati ma yana bu sorti. Ano une consommatrice ma dona to. C'est une sorcière femme. Elle ne veut pas travailler. Elle fait seulement rien qu'à la sorcellerie dans notre maison. Hein? Est-ce que c'est normal? Elle doit partir. Si elle ne part pas, je vais la tuer. Elle est qui? Ah, il y a une cause. Elle doit partir.
Je te donnerai mon amour infini. Tu mérites mon amour infini. Quand je suis malade, tu me soignes, oh bébé. Bébé, tiens ma main, bébé, marche avec moi. Makongo wakonju, makongo wakonja. Magami ambo ngingama, ning. Makongo wakonju, makongo wakonja. Magami ambo ngingama, ning. Je te donnerai mon amour infini. Tu mérites mon amour infini. Quand je suis malade, tu me soignes, oh bébé. Bébé, tiens ma main, bébé, marche avec moi. Que le Seigneur me donne une longue vie, je te prouvais. Je suis né pour toi, l'amour est là. Mon amour est fini, je pleure les larmes de joie. Les larmes de joie. Les larmes de joie. Les larmes de joie. Makongo wakonju, Makongo wakonja, magami ambo nginganga, ningin 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 ningin. Makongo wakonja, makongo wakonja, magami ambo nginganga, ningin 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 ningin. Masawa gentleman, tamula family, konga kongale, nyoma kongale. Amia amia, tu sais que je t'aime. Amia amia, konga kongale. Tu es mon amour infini. Tu mérites mon amour infini. Quand je suis malade, tu me soignes, oh bébé. Bébé, tiens ma main, bébé, marche avec moi. 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 Bébé, marche avec moi.
An exceptional love song that has held my team spellbound there. You can't imagine. Throughout that song, nobody said a word in the studio. Now you want to know. She sings really well. Bernice, you're doing wonderfully, wonderfully well. Just keep shining. Now, let's talk about the newspapers and the headlines that you find out there when you step out of your home. And Baldwin Sama is right here. Good morning, Baldwin.
Good morning, Pochi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Have you caught your breath? Because you were also spellbound when that song was going on.
I was just listening and I was watching. I was saying, is that Renice? I was expecting to hear Della Sauce, but unfortunately there was no Della Sauce.
You were hoping to hear
something like that.
No, I'm sure she's multifaceted and she's showing it to us.
Yes.
Yeah, she is. So, okay, what do we have in the papers?
Many stories that do animate our newspapers at this Tuesday morning. We begin with Cameroon Tribune newspaper having this story talking about the human rights situation in Cameroon, published recently by this non-governmental organization, Amnesty International, a fake case as far as the situation of human rights, the violation of human rights in Cameroon is concerned. This edition of Lone Bilingual Daily explains to us that Cameroon happens to be a land of hospitality with hospitable persons and welcomes well over 300,000 refugees. But unfortunately, the latest report published by this non-governmental organization, Amnesty International, stipulates that Cameroon violates the rights of these refugees, which unfortunately, if is not the case, what exactly is the aim of this non-governmental organization, Amnesty International, is trying as much as possible to paint a wrong image about Cameroon being a very, very hospitable country. That you can read in today's edition of a Lone Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune newspaper. We stay with this edition of Cameroon Tribune newspaper, still talking about the Far North region that welcomes the caravan for the trophy of the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations. The caravan was in Marwa yesterday with many football lovers and inhabitants of that part of the country who wanted to catch a glimpse of the trophy the national football team of Cameroon won in Gabon this year, 2017, and also talks about the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations that started last weekend with the Under-20 Lions of Cameroon that poorly started their campaign yesterday with defeats they conceded against the Amajitas of South Africa, 1-3, as they wait for their second match against the Under-20 squad of Sudan. It's going to be on Thursday, a match considered as a must-win match for the Under-20 Lions of Cameroon if they have to keep their hopes alive to sail through to the next round of the tournament. All these stories you should read in today's edition of Cameroon Tribune newspaper. We leave the paper to talk about today's edition of Mutation newspaper. It talks about schools or colleges in Cameroon with drugs. Drugs continue being used by so many students. It talks about this glaring case at Setin Guayaquil. Recently, some students caught taking drugs during school hours in the nation's capital a few days back, and paints a picture as to some of the negative consequences as far as the health of some of the students are concerned. Some of these students who take drugs during school hours, and what may just be some of these motivating reasons as to the high rates of as far as drug consumption by students in some of our schools in the regions are concerned. Read this investigative report in today's edition of Mutation newspaper. The Guardian Post newspaper published this Tuesday morning says government bans SDF Grand Rally on federalism in the nation's economic capital, Douala. According to what is published in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper, they say confrontation feared as Honorable Ninche vows that the rally must hold as planned over there in Douala, and insists that the divisional officer was only notified to provide security and not for authorization as far as this grand rally on federalism by the Social Democratic Front in Douala is concerned. Read and know more by getting a copy of today's edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post paves the way for us to talk about the Post. The Post newspaper says minister's signature forged in a CF of 572 billion 870 million scam. Talks about the signature of the Minister of Justice forged recently by some officials in the Treasury Department and some bank officials in 2015 to siphon well over 572 billion 870 million CFA francs recently, and these persons who have been remanded in custody the trial against these persons have opened at a special criminal court here in Yaoundé to verify what exactly happened after this huge amount of money was siphoned by these key personalities, these senior officials of the Treasury Department and some banks in Yaoundé after having forged the signature of the Minister of Justice way back in 2015. Read that in the Post newspaper. The Post paves the way for us to talk about the latest edition of the Rambler. The Rambler newspaper on its front page, it explains or talks about how ST Muna, Solomon Tandeng Muna, withdrew from the constitutional fraud in 1994. Read more by getting a copy of the Rambler newspaper. The Horizon newspaper is the next newspaper we'll be talking about this morning. Says government saves the academic year. This academic year, as far as the situation in the Northwest and Southwest regions are concerned, both ministers, the ministers of secondary education and basic education, dismiss rumors of a blank academic year, insisting there would be no blank academic year. In Cameroon, students' classes have resumed, and students will sit for their end-of-course examinations, as it has always been the case in Cameroon, with some confessional schools secretly resuming registration for candidates for end-of-course examinations, and the GC board starts compiling data as far as this year's examinations organized by the Cameroon GC board is concerned. Read that story in the latest edition of the Horizon newspaper. The Sun newspaper takes us to the Northwest and Southwest regions, saying that the trophy tour awakens death counts in Northwest and Southwest, where the mobilization was so total, the turnout was impressive in both Bamenda and Boya, with many inhabitants of both regions who turned out to massively welcome the caravan having the trophy of the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations. And this edition also comes to talk about the 2017 Mount Cameroon Race of Hope that took place last weekend in Boya, with Elvis Fai in the male category and Galim Lizette in the women's category winning this edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope. Read all of these in the latest edition of the Sun newspaper. As we end with the Star newspaper, it talks about the Safe Ordinary Congress of the NUDP party that took place last weekend at the Yaoundé Conference Center, with the re-election of Bello Buba Maigari as the national leader, the national president of the NUDP party. And he talks of the problem. After his election, he talks about the problem plaguing the two English-speaking regions, the Northwest and the Southwest regions, and wants elected mayors to replace government delegates. These are just some of the views of the re-elected national chairman of the NUDP party. You can read in this edition of the Star newspaper.
And of course, go get a copy of the papers, because it goes beyond the headlines. It's hard to read the headlines and know the story.
The
headline is just a tip of the story. Thank you so much, Bodin Sama.
You're welcome, Pochi.
Does it look like there's something in my basket you like today? I know, that's a trap. Bodin doesn't really like many fruits, but red grape, something like, okay, anyere.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I only go for pineapples or oranges. I told you I'm
Pineapples,
very selective.
oranges. You
oranges,
are very selective, but it's okay. It's your choice, please. But of course, there are pineapples and oranges out there, so you can grab any.
I will.
Have a beautiful day and see you on Thursday.
God bless you.
Okay. Well, I have some of your reactions coming in, and I want to share that before we move on to our legal page. This is coming from Belinda Teze. She says, parents, especially mothers, should teach their children a man will always have more than one woman. Better know your co-wives than discover them at a funeral. All right, that's what you have to say. Alimain Dasang says the problem with polygamy is that women are no longer tolerant of one another. Okay, really? Well, keep them coming. What do you think of polygamy especially? Has it changed though? Because I keep hearing people say the problem is that women today don't want to live together. The problem today is that men don't really care. Whatever. Share with us and we'll share with the world. But while we're waiting for your messages to keep coming in, here is our legal slot. Today we're looking at how to register a business entity. If you're thinking of starting a business, this could be something that will help you. Just watch and enjoy.
The procedure for registering a business, first of all, depends on what kind of business you want to register. Perhaps it's important that we highlight the laws governing business in the Republic. And Cameroon is a signatory to OHADA, the Harmonization of Business Law in Africa. And there are two major treaties that govern business in OHADA countries. The first is the OHADA law governing commercial activity, and the OHADA governing commercial companies and economic interest groups. This, to a wider extent, governs businesses in all OHADA countries. And we would see that the business registration ranges from small businesses that run as sole proprietorships right up to big corporations and public and private companies. And in either of this case, there is a procedure to follow. Now, there is what is established by OHADA, known as the Trade and Personal Property Credit Register. That is the institution or the agency that registers businesses in other countries, including Cameroon. In this case, most sole proprietorships, which is referred to as enterprises under OHADA law, have to register with a Trade and Personal Property Credit Register, and thereafter get a business license, which is commonly known by its French translation patent. Yes. So thereafter, depending on the size of the business, the procedure will change. However, I want to highlight on commercial companies, because more often than not, that is where the bulk of the procedure, and that is where the business climate is most at times affected. Commercial companies and economic interest groups, because for small-sized businesses, it is easy and straightforward. Now, when you want to register a business, like I earlier mentioned, you have to know first what kind of business you want to do and which form of business structure is best fit for the business that you want to run. And there again, you need the help of perhaps experts in the domain, lawyers and counsels specialized in business law, and to advise you on which form of business you want to run. However, in the case of a company, you would need, of course, the services of a notary, to draft up the required documents, which in this case, as prescribed by OHADA, will be with the articles of association, the notarized subscription and payment of shares, the appointment certificate for the pioneer general manager, and of course, there is room for to elect residents in your notary's office, or you have premises which you have leased or you own, and proof of which you have to show to the authorities that be. And thereafter, of course, you have to get clearance from the National Social Insurance, Social Security Scheme, CMPS. You need necessary clearance from them to show that you're effectively employing young Cameroonians or Cameroonians, and you're paying them in accordance with the salary scale in the Republic. And thereafter, of course, you need to liaise with what we call tax compliance. You must comply with the laws of the Republic, which impose taxes on businesses. And perhaps it's important to note at this point that the legislature came up with a brilliant law of business incentive to encourage investments in the country, which exonerates business startups from certain taxes for the first 2 years after registration. And this was in a bid to encourage foreign investment. And of course, there are many other incentives that the government, the state has put in place to encourage investments, both from foreign investments and small business startups. So the procedure of setting up a business virtually depends on what kind of business you want to run.
Thank you very much. Now you know a little bit more in case you're interested in registering or starting a business. Startups, that's how they call it. And it looks like the city of Buea is very, very fertile for startups. If you're in Buea, then I hope you were watching and that you got a thing or two that can help you. Now, Charles Sabune is right here for us to throw, what should we throw, a bomb on social media? We're talking about
I'm
President.
just so controversial, I don't know why.
Well, if that's your nature, take it, live with it, and let others learn to live with you.
Everything
I
I
don't
do is
think people should fight against their nature. I think they should be themselves and then let the others live with them. And some people say I'm cold, but my nature, what do? Should I peel my skin? So please don't peel your skin.
No, I will not.
Live and live happily and
I have
fully.
a very thick skin. Don't bother. Don't bother about that.
So we're talking today about February 28, 1963 and President Kennedy. Tell us.
You are correct, because this is a very important day in the history of the African American civil rights movement, because you know the Jim Crow laws, you know about the Ku Klux Klan, you know all what was done
Infamous, yes.
What was done about the black community in the United States of America, them not having equal rights, them not having equal chances to education, not being in the same buses like the white community. And this is an issue which was symbolized in the 1950s by people like Rosa Parks, by people like Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So after a period of so many sit-ins and whatsoever in places like Montgomery and others in the United States of America, finally the administration decided to listen to the black community. And in 1963, on a day like this, on the 28th of February, President Kennedy finally decided to send legislation to the U.S. Congress authorizing that black people should have the right to vote. As you know, up to 1964, no black man could vote in the United States of America, although it was a constitutionally guaranteed right for the black community. And so the legislation which was proposed by Kennedy, who unfortunately did not see that a reality because he was assassinated in November of same year that ended his presidency, proposed that there should be rights of voting for the black community, and that there should be equal employment opportunities, and that they should have equal treatment just like any other citizens of the United States of America. And after his assassination, out of that euphoria, the Johnson administration, which later came to office, finally came out with what was qualified as the Comprehensive Civil Rights Act of 1964, which guaranteed black people the right to vote in the United States of America. One of the persons who prepared that legislation happens to be guest on Globe Watch Olivier Steen, who is still alive in France. And after that, we equally had, that is the law that made Obama president, because without that law, he wouldn't have had the right to vote and the right to participate in politics. Equally, we had the Equal Employment Act, which followed up in 1968 after the assassination of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. So 1963 in reality was a watershed, because this is the day that the famous legislation was introduced in the U.S. Congress to ensure that there was equality between blacks and whites in the United States of America. I need not come back to the issues of the Ku Klux Klan, because for those who know the United States of America, and for those who did high school, and for those who studied, who did advanced level during my period in 2003, 2004, must have read a certain book they call Black Boy by Richard Wright. And so they perfectly understand the atmosphere which is painted,
that brain at that time,
which was painted in that book. And we are almost living in the same periods in Cameroon when you have the
you
English.
You could say, well, as long as you get a red cross, which means kill him at the least opportunity for saying what you think or you believe. It could be, you could be a lunatic, but all lunatics should have a chance to say their mind and to also see or hear their...
But I think lunatics are the most intelligent people, because if you read Shakespeare's works, the most intelligent people in all of Shakespeare's works are the idiots.
It could be, you're right. You know, a lot of
when the madman tells you that, but you don't go to work today, you should listen to him.
You should be careful.
You should
be careful. A lot of philosophers have said it, that all great people have a grain of madness. So before you label somebody mad, you label somebody crazy, anti-constitutional, or not worthy of being heard, you really want to check yourself first, and maybe you are the lunatic. Now, I'm going to be shot for that, but Charles Epune, thank you for coming.
You're welcome, Pochi. You are very,
and
very
have
welcome.
A beautiful day.
And same to you.
Okay, I was going to tease you, though. You're very American in your topics. Are you going to be coming back more to Cameroon and Africa in your topics in 2017?
Sure. I think I always do that from time to time. I brought you the metaphor of salad here.
Yes, which we loved. We still want salad.
Sure. As the days go by, as we see how the nation evolves, the sad issue is that most of our history is not documented. And I want to make sure that the dates I'm using and the personality I'm quoting, I'm not wrong.
Definitely.
Yes.
Charles Epune, what's your thought of polygamy? That's what we're asking people on Hello Cameroon today.
Polygamy. To me, everything is correct. If you want to marry your 100 women, do. If you want to marry one woman, do.
Marry 100 men.
If you want to be a terrorist, fine. If you want to be a thief, fine. Because stealing is not bad. I used to tell people, if there is a weapon kept somewhere that they are going to use to kill Pochi, if I take away that weapon without authorization, that's stealing. But I must have saved a life.
You are a bomb, and I'm afraid I've thrown it.
I would have saved a life.
Everything
you do
now
is
you know
correct,
why
provided you do it well.
Thank you. Well said. Please, let's commit.
Marry as many women as you want.
Do you want a banana?
No.
Okay, let me give you the basket.
You know I come from the coastal area.
Let's commit to you again. You know, we've been committing and committing. But Leo, please shoot the commitment.
Parce que l'info n'attend pas.
We bring it to you firsthand.
Because your life is dynamic.
Nous nous adaptons à vos attentes.
Parce que vous méritez ce qu'il y a de mieux.
We are up to date with technology. Parce que vous êtes mobile.
We bring the news to you wherever you are.
Est-ce que vous êtes notre miroir?
Nous vous montrerons le monde like you've never seen it before.
Parce que vos victoires sont les nôtres.
We are on all fronts.
Because you are precious.
En 2017, partageons ce que nous avons de mieux.
CRTV, au cœur de la nation.
And if you haven't heard our commitment, we are committed to committing to you every day until you say, stop, I've heard. We know that you're committed, of course. That's CRTV 2017, the way we want it to be. Now let's talk with somebody who is going to be talking to us about, well, let's get into politics. And Moki Edwin Kinzeka is right here. Good morning.
Thank you, Pochi Tambaso.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I'm good. And you're not alone. You're here with Mbafo Paul. And we're talking about the NUDP.
Yeah, and congratulations. Welcome, Mr. Mbafo. I want to congratulate you for your election as National Youth President of the NUDP.
Thank you, and thank God.
The election was done on Saturday during the weekend.
Yeah, it was.
Just talk to us, how did you get to this position?
I've been militating in the NUDP since 2012. I ran for the mayor of Yaoundé 6. I'm section president in Yaoundé 6. I was unsuccessful in 2013. But I would say my getting to this position was actually a demonstration of the practice of democracy in the NUDP. I want to start by thanking my predecessor, Mr. Ndansi Elvis, to whom I would say, after God, I owe him my election to this position.
Yeah, because Ndansi Elvis said he wanted to hand over to the younger generations and said at his age, he didn't think he'd be running for his president.
I don't think he really said so.
That's what he told me.
Ndansi is an example of the good new generation that represents hope for this party. After holding one term, and he's still very young, we are virtually age mates, so it's not a generation ahead of me. He decided that we, the youths, we are always blamed with complaining. We like to complain. So he said instead of complaining, he's going to demonstrate. And this gesture of him, he still has ongoing projects as the former National Youth Chairman. But he said he will step down after one term of 5 years, and he will give the seat to some other person who would also come and carry out his own agenda, well, continuing his. And I think that's how come he met me. We discussed. We met the party leadership, and he said he isn't going to stand anymore. And I felt very honored by it. The party leadership also felt me being capable. So I thank Mr. Ndansi, and I thank the party leadership for trusting me with this huge responsibility.
Mr. Ndasi, Mr. Mbafo Paul, I'd like to get from you the ambience. If you were a reporter and you were telling people how the election generally went, because it saw the re-election of your party chairman, and you're talking about change and youths, coming into the scene. So if you were to report this to people, especially to the crowd of people out there who are anxiously looking for signs of change in political parties in the country, what words will you use?
I know where you're driving at.
Exactly.
I can read between the lines, and your question is, we're talking about change, and we re-elected the incumbent. In politics, I think I'll be fair to say, and without any complex, that the ends justify the means. We don't change for changing sake. Our national chairman, so far, is the best person, the most qualified person. Prove me wrong if you think there is somebody better than he to carry this party's agendas, to carry this party's program. As far as I'm concerned, I love change. I'm given to change. I'm constantly changing. But I want to be objective. We don't change for the sake of changing.
Is that the reason he was voted by acclamation?
Yes, he was voted by acclamation. And that's the reason why, because this is not just my opinion. It's my humble opinion, but it's shared by 100% of the party represented at the Congress.
Don't you think that 100% you're talking of is a little bit exaggerated? There are people, I don't want to call names, who may have wanted to be there, who had raised complaints even before this, your Congress?
Well, we didn't see them there. They didn't present their candidacy there. We had one candidate.
They know what had already been prepared for Mr. Buba Bello to.
This was a Congress, and everybody. I could have presented my candidacy. You could have come, and if you remember, the party presented your candidacy. Anybody could have, but let's be honest with ourselves. This is not a game of showing a face. This is not a game of trying to impress the world. This is something serious. We're not joking here. We are in a pre-electoral year, and we need a champion. We need the best person we think can stand in front of this party, represent this party. And so far, everybody, even if people nursed, people dream. It's good to dream. It's not a bad thing to dream. I'm sure some people came there with dreams, but let's face the facts. When push comes to shove, I think that we'll all face the facts. If I'm not qualified, let me let somebody who is most qualified to go ahead.
Mr. Mbafo, you joined the party in 2012.
Exactly.
You became so active. 5 years down the line, you've just gone up to almost the highest position in the party.
Almost.
That you could, yeah, but because the youths get to that level, maybe you may now be gunning for the Politburo and the president. What accounts for this success? Most of the time, we don't see youths in political parties getting to this level.
First of all, I would say it's the grace of God. I owe everything to God. Without God, we can't do anything. Even if you're qualified, even if you have the resources, if you don't have God's favor upon you, you can't go far. Human effort can just take you this far, but with God, you have unusual results. Secondly, I would say I'll give credit to the party. I think this is a party that really gives a place to the youth. We don't look at longevity. We don't look at age. We don't look at gender. We look at competence. And I believe I've put in a lot in this party. And the party simply was honest enough to say we acknowledge that this young guy in 5 years has done a lot.
You joined the party by wanting to become mayor of Yaoundé 5, if I'm not mistaken?
No, I joined the party because I wanted my voice heard.
And that same year you were running for elections to become mayor?
It just happened that in Yaoundé 6 I was
Is it because you were
not
Is it because there were a few people gunning for that position and you saw the advantage and came in?
No, not at all. I think I came into the party not because I was aiming at any post, but I came because I wanted the voice of the youth heard. I came because I wanted to have a say. And in the process of having a say, I was identified by my constituent in Yaoundé 6 as the best person to carry the party's emblem.
Let me ask you this question. What is the day of a youth president like you like? Because if you talk of the CPDM, we hear and see them almost on a regular basis. You hear and see this SDF as well. The NUDP much less. What does what was the day of Elvis like, and what would your day be filled with?
I think this day too on the job would be too early to say. Yesterday I rested and I spent time at home with my family. The day, if I should answer,
but generally speaking, what are the activities you're expected to do?
Just execute what the job description is, which is first of all to increase civic education amongst Cameroonian youth. Secondly, increase political awareness amongst the Cameroonian youth. Boost youth membership in the party. And significantly increase youth representation in elected assemblies. So these are the objectives, these are the duties, the job description of the position. So, I mean, you guys know Dancy well. He was, many times he was on this plateau. He was on the field. He was going from subdivision to subdivision, division to division, region to region, carrying out the message of the party, mobilizing youths, both home and abroad. So I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm not going to develop a new model. I'm just going to go down to the field, fold my sleeves, meet the youths. I believe in politics of proximity and political actions, not of speeches and discussions.
I listened to Bello Buba Maigari, your party chairman, and he said he's counting very much on you, the youths. He said he's going now to canvass for the revision of the electoral code for the voting age to be brought to 18 years. He is counting on the youths, so it's a serious challenge for you.
For those who know me, I love challenges. I feel motivated when the challenges are immense. When there's no challenge, there's low energy as far as I'm concerned. So I think he won't be disappointed.
What is your immediate plan of action?
Without organization, we could muster a lot of energy and waste. My plan of action, as of now, is first of all to organize a team that will go down to the field. We're in a pre-electoral year. We'll go down to the field and we'll meet the youth. I cannot disclose my program in the details right now because, as you know, this is day 2 on the job. I have to fine-tune it with the party hierarchy, and then maybe next time I will give you the details of what my plan of action.
But what do you think? Before you get there, sorry, Pochi, before you fine-tune the strategy, I'm sure you had a plan of action that you proposed what the hierarchy accepted. I heard your party chair, Bello Buba, saying that the Anglophone problem, you're from the Northwest region, that is a that if decentralization were applied, it would not be, it would have solved the problems. Now, what do you think about the problem in the Northwest region, as per what your hierarchy is instructing?
Those are 2 questions in one. What I think about the problem in the Northwest region.
And if decentralization is a solution.
And if decentralization is a solution. Yeah, I'm from the Northwest. Actually, I'm a complete Anglophone. My mom is from the Southwest, she's from Dimbia, and my dad is from Santa. That makes me a perfect blend. I'm an Anglophone pure breed. We agree. There's nothing abstract or extraordinary in saying there is an Anglophone problem, and a pertinent one for that matter, which is being aggravated by the prolongation of the strike and the way things are being handled. That's also the first question, and I personally sympathize with my Anglophone brethren. I have been a victim with we Anglophones, we who've been born on this side, who've grown on this side, maybe even more than those who've lived their whole lives there, because when we were young, I remember Anglophones were virtually the only children who wore uniforms to school. Francophones didn't know about uniforms, so it was easy to identify also the name Anglophone, whatever. We are the ones who bore that right here. We were out here, we were like an advanced post, so there's that problem, and I can't negate that fact. The national chairman said that decentralization, if applied according to the 1996 constitution, would have avoided this crisis. And I think, Mr. Moki, that we all agree on that. Decentralization just gives semi-autonomy to every region. They can take care of their development. They won't talk about marginalization, because if I'm taking care of my home, I won't complain that the neighbor is developing, he's building a bigger fence, he has a greener lawn. But if I'm given the resources to take care of my yard, I think I'll be busy taking care of my yard. And I mean, the political life, the civil life is going to be enriched. We'll be busy building our society infrastructurally, socially, and there will be some healthy competition between the regions, and obviously we'll have no Anglophone problem today.
Let me ask you this about
Yes.
the year. You know, you're starting a mandate and it's still early in the year. What are some of the things that you think you'll be telling young persons like yourself to get them interested in politics? Because before you join any political party, you have to have some interest in politics. And I do know that when you talk to 1, 2, 3 young persons on the street, they have a very...
they're not interested.
They are not interested.
The voter apathy, they don't
it's very
even
high.
care about...
What is your strategy to get them interested and then maybe get them into the NUDP?
Like I said, strategy-wise, Maybe next time I'm going to disclose my strategy. But if I will address fellow young Cameroonians concerning politics, I'll tell them you can't win a match by boycotting. No matter the pretext, you could say maybe the referee is bought over by the adverse side, but there is no chance of you ever winning if you boycott. The youths constitute the absolute majority of this nation, population-wise. But in both upper and lower houses of representatives, I'm not sure we are 1%. I'd be exaggerating.
It depends on your definition of who the youth is.
Well, if you look at 18 to 35 or 40, if we should take that
in the case of your
bracket,
party.
In the case of my party, if we should take that bracket, maybe I exaggerated, but are we 5%? Where are decisions taken? Not in classrooms, not in marketplace, not on the streets. Decisions are taken in parliament. They are executed on the ground in the context of decentralization in the councils, by the councils. Where are the youth? If we go out and register, and if we go out and vote, there is no magic about it. We are going to enter parliament, and we're going to occupy the councils. Or tell the youth, we are the crushing majority, we are the sleeping force. I don't want to speak in tongues. I don't want to be a loud town crier, but just look at your condition. If you're satisfied with your condition, then fine. Stay back.
That's the problem. That's it.
But
exactly
if you're
the
not
problem.
satisfied with your condition, stop whining. It's irresponsible to identify your problem, know the solution, and not do it. It's irresponsibility. Let's be responsible. Let's engage civically. Let's register to vote. Elekam is ongoing, is carrying out registrations right now till August. Who are the youth? If you go to Elekam's registration centers now, will you see young people? I go from time to time as a section president, and I see old people registering, and I'm like, where are the youth? I think now as the national youth chairman of the YMDP, that is going to be, I'll give you tips of what my strategy will be like.
We've been knocking at that door for long, so please open it just a little bit for us.
I will be going around, especially in the Anglophone region, and tell the youths, while you are striking, while you are abstaining from school, while you're closing your businesses and staying indoors, some other people are busy registering. And this whole Anglophone strike will turn to a buffoonery when next year elections will come up. And you will see the people who are criticizing get more seats. We have 20 parliamentary seats in the Northwest and 34 councils. Guess what? If this strike goes on, if we do not really tackle the problem where it should be tackled, if we don't look for productive solutions, after this strike, next year we'll receive a slap in our faces and we'll see the same old people occupy and get even more seats. So my message to the youth is, please stop whining, stop striking, go back to school, and let us tell the government we bend a little finger. Next year, we'll wait for you, and we will take matters into our own hands, not on the streets, but in parliament.
But in parliament and with the votes. Thank you so much, Bafo Paul. Moki, thank you so much.
Bafo Paul, I want to really thank you very much for, shortly after the election, I had to actually insist before you came here. And also thank your party chair, because he actually was implicated in this. He said, get my youth president is a good guy when talking in the party.
Indeed. Keep coming, please, to tell us about your strategy when it's unfolding, so we can get more youths to understand why it's important to be part of what is happening in the country and how to get involved in that. Now let's get a moment of advert before we step into the newsroom.
Nous accompagner pendant le 8 mars. Je suis là bien.
Je sors acheter mon pain. Cette fois-ci, là, c'est comme un des petits plats dans les grands. Grande tombola, des lots à gagner. Et faites très attention, les dames. Ce pain est protégé à l'eau à payer. Déjà disponible dans toutes les boutiques. Ecotex, Sicam, la Clim Textile et à 6 800 francs seulement.
Enjoy 1,000% for calls, SMS and data jackpot, 100 francs, 200 francs, 250 francs, and 300 francs.
Nextel, the best 3G network in Cameroon.
Madame, Monsieur, bonjour et bienvenue aux 8h sur la CRTV. Construction des ouvrages d'évacuation de l'énergie électrique du projet de Menveleux, le ministre de l'Économie, de la Planification et de l'Aménagement du territoire, lui Paul Motazé, procède tout à l'heure à Niabizan à la signature d'un accord de prêt commercial obtenu d'Exim Bank Chine. 83 milliards de francs CFA, c'est le montant de cet accord commercial. Toujours dans l'actualité du jour, le gouverneur de la région du littoral va procéder au lancement du projet d'aménagement hydroélectrique interconnexion de Grand et Vennes. Ce projet va s'étendre du département de la Sanaga-Maritime, près du village Cannes dans la région du littoral, au département du Nyon-Ekele dans la région du centre. Nous allons en sport. Le trophée de la Cannes 2017 présenté aujourd'hui aux populations de la région du Nord. Le ministre de la Jeunesse et de l'Éducation civique conduit une délégation à cet effet. Dans l'actualité courante, nous avons la Journée mondiale de la protection civile qui va se célébrer demain, 1er mars. Sous le thème « Ensemble avec la protection civile face aux catastrophes » et en prélude à cette célébration, la direction de la protection civile a organisé hier, ici même à Yaoundé, au quartier Colbisson, une zone à risque, une campagne d'assainissement. Avi Gizenze faisait partie de cette campagne.
Une saison de pluie sans inondation, les riverains du cours d'eau et Korozok Manezan, au quartier Colbisson, s'y attellent déjà. Tout est mis en œuvre cette année pour amoindrir les dégâts.
Dans les années 80, il y a eu des pertes humaines. Il y a eu des matériaux de cuisine et les maisons qui s'effondraient. Il n'y aura plus d'inondation parce que nous avons dégagé le lit de Manezam pour laisser les eaux pluvieuses passer.
Pour les accompagner dans cette noble tâche, la direction de la protection civile en appelle à l'implication des populations dans la lutte contre les catastrophes.
Nous avons choisi Colbisson parce que c'est une communauté qui est exposée au risque d'inondation. Les principales causes de ces risques, c'est d'abord le comportement des populations. Alors nous sommes venus vers elles pour leur montrer qu'en changeant de comportement, elles peuvent contribuer à réduire les risques d'inondation dans leur communauté.
Au lycée d'Oncolbisson, c'est une quarantaine d'élèves qui ont reçu une formation en gestes de premier secours. Toutes ces actions menées par la direction de la protection civile se veulent pérennes, d'où l'implication de toutes les couches sociales.
Nous voulons que cette culture entre dans leurs habitudes. Sûrement que sur les 40 élèves qu'on aura formés au lycée, je pense que 10 vont grandir avec la culture et les 10 là vont multiplier cette culture.
Ensemble avec la protection civile, thème retenu cette année est donc un appel lancé à tous sur la nécessité de la prévention et de la préparation face aux catastrophes.
En politique, Bello Bouba Maïgari, président de l'Union nationale pour la démocratie et le progrès, cela fait 30 ans déjà. Il a été plébiscité à l'unanimité lors du 6e congrès ordinaire de ce parti politique, c'était le week-end dernier. Et Jean-Paul Mpondo nous relate les grands axes de son mandat.
Ils sont venus en masse au Palais des Congrès pour un congrès national, mais aux enjeux très importants qui vont animer la vie de leur parti durant les 5 prochaines années. D'abord, l'élection du président de l'UNDP, Bello Bouba Maïgari, rempile pour la 6e fois la tête de l'Union nationale pour la démocratie et le progrès. 30 ans déjà qu'il y est, et le combat continue pour l'amélioration de l'environnement politique au Cameroun.
Notre pays fait face aujourd'hui à la menace à sa sécurité que lui impose la secte terroriste Boko Haram. Nous allons continuer à soutenir parce que la défense de la patrie n'est pas une question partisane. Ensuite, le deuxième défi, le maintien de l'unité et de la cohésion nationale. que le dialogue soit la voie à adopter pour résoudre cette crise. Il faut que notre pays reste uni et fraternel.
Devant un parterre de représentants des partis politiques amis, de la société civile et autres, le président de l'UNDP a clairement précisé sa vision sur l'amélioration du système électoral, notamment ramener à 18 ans l'âge de la majorité électorale au lieu de 20 ans actuel, instaurer un bulletin unique et renforcer la proportionnelle, c'est-à-dire distribuer les sièges dans les communes au prorata des suffrages valablement exprimés lors des élections. En plus de la présidence nationale, d'autres instances, à savoir le bureau politique, le comité central, le comité national, le mouvement des femmes et celui des jeunes ont aussi été pourvus pour un mandat de 5 ans.
Coopération militaire à présent, le chef de bataillon Thomas Brooks, officier de l'armée américaine, fait chevalier de l'Ordre national de la valeur camerounaise. Il a reçu ses attributs hier en présence du ministre de la Défense, Joseph Besté-Assomo, et de l'ambassadeur des États-Unis au Cameroun, son Excellence Mike Stephen Hosa. Cette décoration à titre exceptionnel lui a été attribuée pour sa forte implication dans la lutte contre Boko Haram. Le reportage de Daoud Moulion.
Titre exceptionnel pour un soldat exemplaire. Acteur de la coopération militaire entre le Cameroun et les États-Unis, le chef de bataillon Thomas Brooks a su séduire par ses qualités professionnelles. Son mérite est salué au-delà des frontières américaines et approuvé par l'État camerounais qui fait de lui un chevalier de l'Ordre national de la valeur à titre exceptionnel.
Nous sommes très honorés et très fiers en même temps. Il a créé le programme de la formation de l'équipement pour les forces de sécurité camerounaises dans la guerre contre Boko Haram. Il a travaillé dur, 7 jours par semaine, parce qu'il connaît la nature du combat et il connaît l'importance d'avoir la bonne formation et le bon équipement.
C'est par décret du 6 février 2017, signé par le président de la République Paul Biya, que l'officier supérieur de l'armée américaine est récompensé dans ses efforts. La présence du gratin des forces armées camerounaises, coiffé par le ministre de la Défense, Joseph Besté-Assomo, renforce cet honneur.
Oh, c'est incroyable, incroyable. Je suis extremely proud. J'ai fait beaucoup de choses pour la formation des soldats camerounais et aussi avec l'équipement pour protéger les soldats.
Pendant 3 ans, le chef de bataillon Thomas Brooks a inlassablement contribué aux côtés du Cameroun à la lutte contre Boko Haram, l'insécurité et le terrorisme en général. Son action a été remarquable dans le renforcement des équipements et la protection des soldats camerounais. Ses collaborateurs restent marqués par son humilité, son assiduité et son bilinguisme qu'il a su mettre au profit de la coopération militaire entre les États-Unis et le Cameroun.
En sport, CAN Gabon 2017, le trophée poursuit son périple. Ce jour, c'est au tour de Garoua de recevoir ce trophée dans la région du nord-ouest, de l'extrême nord. C'était hier. Le trophée a soulevé une foule immense, fait de nombreuses joies. Nous allons suivre les détails dans ce reportage de Séverin Alégambili.
Une charge émotionnelle significative ce lundi à Maroua. Au passage de la caravane de présentation du trophée de la CAN Gabon 2017 dans les rues du chef-lieu de l'extrême nord. Comme une grappe de raisin, les populations de cette région, victimes des attaques meurtrières de Boko Haram, sont sorties pour saluer avec beaucoup d'enthousiasme la victoire des Lions indomptables, symbole sacré de l'engagement patriotique d'un groupe. Une véritable communion populaire au-dessus des divisions mécaniques qu'imposent les appartenances aux groupes sociologiques ou aux partis politiques. Ici, dans une sorte de conformité morale, tout le monde semblait dire « Je suis Camerounais, je suis fier de l'être ». Un message d'amour de la patrie utile dans le processus de construction nationale.
C'est vraiment le Cameroun uni. C'est à l'exemple des Lions indomptables. Donc nous, en tant qu'hommes politiques, c'est un message que nous allons continuer de véhiculer parce que c'est une flamme qui doit être allumée et qui doit rester allumée.
De par la mobilisation extraordinaire, l'extrême nord a donné la parfaite illustration d'une région prête à intégrer le modèle de cohésion qu'offre la sélection nationale senior de football.
Nous sommes dans une région qui fait face aux affres de la secte Boko Haram. Mais les conseils du chef de l'État, le modèle qu'il nous a demandé, l'inspiration qui doit être tiré des lieux indomptables fait en sorte que nous remontons toutes ces difficultés et nous nous sentons unis. Donc, à travers cette coupe, les gens veulent encore montrer l'unité, l'intégration nationale, le patriotisme.
La liesse populaire dans les rues de Marois, à la dimension des prouesses des Lions indomptables à Libreville, est aussi un signe de ralliement à l'unité nationale que le président de la République appelle de tous ses voeux.
Madame, Monsieur, c'est sous cette ambiance festive que nous fermons ce point d'information. Merci d'avoir été des nôtres. Restez sur la CIA TV en compagnie de Pochita Basso.
Thank you very much, Marie-Laurence Kay, and for such a beautiful morning with you. Would you like some fruits?
Bananas?
Bananas. Oh, Bill Titi is in trouble. I have a colleague, we have a colleague, Bill Titi. You know Bill Titi? He loves bananas, so it's good. Have a beautiful day and see you again on Thursday. It is. It fits the soul as well. Right, and see you on Thursday.
Ok, oui, à jeudi.
À jeudi. D'accord. Entre-temps, bonne journée. All right. You know, in Cameroon, we keep switching. There's a South African colleague who came into this house. I was like, in Cameroon, people switch from English to French, French to English. Sometimes it's called a privilege. It's called a real opportunity, and it's an opportunity that you need to seize, run with it, and enjoy it. You have only one life to live, you know. And talking about one life, this is somebody who was born sometime in the 40s, I think, and he sang a wonderful song. His songs still inspire today. Eboalota. He was a man with a large mouth. He never used to shut it up. When he had something to say, he had to say it. And it's because he spoke his mind that he's still a star today, many years after. Well, some stars got together and paid him a glowing tribute. We are throwing ourselves way back then. This is Samidiko and Ben Deka in an old song, but an old song that pays tribute to an older talent. Please just enjoy. This is Homage 5, Ben Deka and Samidiko, remembering Eboalotan.
Lamdongoti, Ninobolawa. Lamdongoti, Ninotielewa. Lamdongoti, Nongombamo, Son. Samidiko, Udinite. Hasibe moni bolawa nyola nekando mangi numba yana bisona wajaboy so simse mule na mame yana o mala o mwanyu so ibo hambe kwe yana mabupe momba mongo bonsa ne bananda bo manyanga
Beautiful song. Oh, you missed it. We were just Beauty T and myself. We were just about to do the thing, you know. Kole Sere. Beautiful song indeed. Like no other word. And of course, in remembrance of Ebua Lawton. And that's a man who left behind a family. If you're of that family, we're thinking of you today and we're holding you quite close to us. They say those who matter, hold them close. We are holding you very close to us. Now, we were talking about youth a while ago, and I wanted to just say, if you're around Cambe, you should watch out for a training seminar that's about to start. It will start on the 4th of March, and it's for young mothers, if you're one of those or you know some. Please, you might want to hook them up to the National Youth Council in Donga Mountain, because they are organizing a seminar called You Are the Solution, and that's part of activities that should lead up to the creation of a center that will have a library with books only for young people, young mothers and children. That's one way to achieve development, and I believe in it. Abanda Marcel, thank you for doing that. And please, if you're doing something wonderful, share with us on Hello Cameroon, so we share with the world. Beauty T, good morning, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Pucci. It's my pleasure to be here.
I have a banana that's waiting for you.
I know. I saw it from a distance from the house.
But before we get to the banana issue, let me quickly read some of the messages that people sent in. Quantum David from Banjul in the West region says, I want to think that in this 21st century, everything is taking a new trend, a new turn, maybe that's what you want to say. So polygamy is not left indifferent. I overheard one guy talking about change from analog to digital polygamy. Okay, the Android world and its wonders. The only way to seek God first and understand with the first wife, because she must agree. Prophetess Mercy from Boya. Okay, I didn't quite understand. I guess you're saying, like most older people would say, that get the approval of the first wife before you get a second one. Okay. Thank you very much, Prophetess Mercy. And polygamous marriage is good for a man or woman who can withstand heart attack or high blood. Ndinge Catherine from Bamenda. I wonder who can withstand high blood or heart attack. Well, Beauty,
yes,
just give us the jobs. Tell us how to.
You don't
no
want
comment.
Me to comment. Because you know what I was saying.
What? I asked Charles Ebune, and he just threw a bomb, and
right.
I had my share. I don't want.
I have Misa.
I don't want another one.
Okay.
So tell us about jobs.
Yeah. Good morning. Today we're having 3 jobs, 3 opportunities coming from Nestle. Nestle say they are looking for a quality control coordinator or manager who must have a master's in quality control, or like a master's in quality control engineering. Here they say you must be bilingual, and you must have experience in quality control management. Well, they say if you have experience in quality control management, that is a plus. That's going to be a plus for you. For the documents, you need a curriculum vitae and a motivation letter. We're talking about quality control coordinator with Nestle to work in Douala. Now, you send your motivation letter and your curriculum vitae to the email address you should have on your screen. It is recruitment@cm.nestle.com. recruitment@cm.nestle.com. On the subject matter, you put quality, that's coordinator, quality systems, coordinator of quality systems. You put that on your mail subject before sending. You put coordinator quality systems 2017, add 2017 on that before sending your application. Now, Nestle is also looking for an industrial technician. Here they say you must have a diploma, at least in electricity, electronics, and experience in installation of electricity. Let's say, well, if you have a diploma in electricity, obviously you got to know how to install electrical appliances, but they have emphasized on the air conditioning system, because that will be a very vital exercise for you to do. So Nestle is looking for an industrial technician. Like I said, the experience they are looking for here is 3 years of work experience, and the documents are the same: curriculum vitae and the motivation letter that you send to the email address that you have. You have above the first email contact, recruitment@cm.nestle.com. Now, Nestle, the last one from Nestle, they're looking for a factory management, or let's say factory management trainees. They're looking for factory management trainees, and they say they could be 2 or more, but you must have a master's degree in food processing engineering or quality control engineering to work with them, because you're going to be working with their production processes in their different factories in Douala. Now, you need to have a curriculum, like we say, a master's degree, and the documents is curriculum vitae and a motivation letter that you send to the same email contact that you have. The deadline is on the 21st of March, and so please, when sending on the mail subject, you put FMT, which of course stands for Factory Management Trainees, March 2017. You have details on this on my Facebook page. Let's leave Nestle to meet Global Health Supply Chain. It's a company that works in the health domain, and they are needing 2 logistics officers to work with them in Yaoundé. Here you must have at least a diploma in logistics management, health science, or social science, because they are going to be needing you to work with them in their health domain. The documents are a curriculum vitae and a handwritten application. When you have that, you send to the email address you should have. It's psmcameroonrecruit@gmail.com. PSM Cameroon Recruit in one word. Recruit doesn't take an E at the end. If you have that on the screen, PSM Cameroon Recruit@gmail.com. On the mail subject, you put logistics assistant. Deadline here is on March 8th. Now, Yomi is looking for an accountant. Here they say you must have the qualification that matches with the duty and of course the responsibilities. You must have at least a degree HND in accounting or management. You put together your curriculum vitae and a motivation letter. You show proof of work experience for those who have worked before, and you send to the email address you find on the screen. It's rhfinance@yomi.cm. rhfinance@yomi.cm. I'll just rapidly take this one. It's a newspaper in Limbe. Based in Limbe, they are looking for marketers and those to facilitate their distribution. They say here, if you have just your O levels, you can work with them. And of course, you just need to go to their head office. You can work even in Kumba, you can work in Tikwe or in other town. What you need to do is just to send your application to the email address you find on the screen, or you call this number I'm going to read to you now, 233-332-401, given that no internet connections in the southwest region. So you call 233-332-401, 233-332-401. They're going to answer you and tell you want to work with the newspaper, whichever town you find yourself. Puchi, those are the opportunities for today. Wishing good luck and sure hoping that many will come back and testify. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. I join you in that wish. We hope you come back and tell us about your stories. You might also want to join Titi on his Facebook page, Bill Titi, and there are many more opportunities that come up there as well. Titi, we have, of course, the banana, as you said.
So this is going to hurt my voice because my voice is
Your voice
is bad.
It's going.
I went up the mountain in Boyac. Going to the summit, you can imagine.
So have a banana to help you start the day on a wonderful
That would be a very good one.
But I was going to suggest to you this fruit. It's little known, but it's a grape.
Yeah,
it's the red grape, they call it. It's sweet. It's far sweeter than the one that's not red.
Right.
And it's fleshier. It's, it's pulp and interesting.
You can only give me good things. I'm sure those hunters who are waiting for me to come out, whatever Poti gives me to take out of the studio, you guys will not take these ones.
Don't worry, please.
I got the attributes of this
just
grape.
Just stand nearby and deal with it before you go outside, and then you wipe your mouth in the process.
That's it.
Have a beautiful day and see you on Thursday.
Everyone for your Thursday. Right?
Okay. I want to say good morning to two special ladies. Ngweminang Patricia Songwe, who is about to defend a PhD. You heard that right. She's preparing to defend a PhD on cybersecurity. And Mba Fonkime Agnes, who is also preparing to defend a PhD on public procurement policy and regulation. These are two ladies who are going to be defending tomorrow in the University of Yaoundé 2. In case you want to be there, it's a public event. Maybe you want to come and see how women can handle tough issues and change title in the process, because it looks like after that they're going to be called Dr. Songwe and Dr. Fonkime. Wonderful day to you ladies, and I hope you'll be a blast tomorrow when you defend. Now let's go to Baba One for the Menye Festival. It's a cultural moment that took place there, and Susan Bell took the cameras of CRTV there and brought back these images for us.
Hello, and welcome to Baba One. Baba One is a locality in the Ngokatunja division in the northwest region that counts close to 45,000 inhabitants. The fandom of Baba One has been existing for over 500 years now, and of course the people remain deep-rooted in their culture. The mini festival which you see happening here connects them to their roots. This dance, the Menye, also referred to as Dance of the Gods, which spans over a 4-day festival, enables sons and daughters of Baba One to converge on the Palace Plaza and exhibit some aspects of their tradition and culture. In the Papiakum tradition, the success of this cultural festival depends on the concerns of the gods of the land. His Royal Highness Fonfukomshi II leads the procession to the Nyikpat shrine to commune with the ancestors. It has taken the Fon and the Papiapum community to leave the palace to this shrine 30 minutes. This shrine has gotten an importance for this festival. I'm going to turn to one resource person who will tell us the significance of this shrine. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. We are here in the Inipa, as it's normally called in the Baba One dialect. which is the secret shrine of the Baba-Wan people. Before the mini dance is effective, the fawn and the notables will have to come to this shrine to appease the gods and ask for and ask the gods to permit the Baba people to dance the mini dance. Because if in the shrine it is said they should not dance, they will not dance because there will be a lot of mishaps.
Rites of appeasement and purification are carried out, which sets the pace for festivities.
We're just coming back from the shrine. We talk with the ancestors of the land, and they've offered us blessings in this land this year. They've offered us a lot of things this year: progress, long life for the people of this land, and peace. That's what the ancestors have told us.
From Fekumshi, the second solemn outing is announced by the royal trumpet. He is joined by title holders and king's men in the mini dance. Enthusiastic sons and daughters of Baba-Wan join the queue. This festival is equally an occasion to showcase the different traditional attire and adornments. Von Fekumshi II, custodian of tradition, is dressed with njong, full of significance.
Those who are dressed in something like skirt like this, traditional dress, you must have been initiated. There are three types of people who are initiated. Those of the Ngumba who come from the right side here, those from the other Ngumba down this way, and then those who come from the palace towards who are linked to the palace, who are dancing on the right side of the front.
The display of these masquerades tell a story which highlights the greatness of the mini dance.
Dinko is the other one who is dressed in who has two people behind. One person holding the rope behind and another person in front. It is supposed to be a powerful animal. That's why it is controlled by two people. And then the other one, Mamopunga, comes out usually during this dance, or when a fawn dies, a fawn disappears of other villages or here, they come out.
With the sprinkling of these greens by His Royal Highness Fekumshi II, son of Baba-Wan, it is an entire community that retreats with ancestral blessings. Fertility abounds in the land. Harvest will be in abundance, youth will prosper, and women will conceive and are likely to deliver twins. Let's take the appointment with the Papiakum community in 2019.
If you're looking for twins, 1 year is not a long time to wait, you know, so take the appointment with Bell for 2018 for another moment, another cultural moment with the Baba-Wan people. Meantime, around the 12th of March, the Bambalang people will be having their Shatang, which is another cultural moment. The whole country is, has a lot of cultural moments like that, and there's a lot of value in seeking to know where you come from, where your neighbors come from, how they eat, how they dress, how they sleep, and whatever. And talking about people, cultural moments, and all the like, here is a man of culture in the studio with me, Otia Vitalis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Pochi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. And you?
I'm happy to have you here. I'm doing fine.
Same here.
All right. Happy New Year. I haven't seen you since the year started.
That's right.
I'm going to keep saying Happy New Year until December the 31st. You can just kill me, but I'll keep doing it. But we're here to talk more than just Otia Vitalis. But let's start more with you, though. You are a face that we've discovered in recently in many things. But I'm sure the story did not start just about now. Did not start with Bad Angel, for example. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about Otia Vitalis for people who are not common to your story?
Yes, Otia Vitalis is a medical professional. I work with the University of Yaoundé One as a research assistant.
Okay.
And I got into the film industry since 2006 with Facing Destiny, that was co-produced by CRTV. And since then, I've been on the screens, in and out of Cameroon.
How do you enjoy the screen? Do you enjoy them better than the lab?
I think so. I think I enjoy it better than the lab, but that's why I am soon going to take my leave
from the lab,
from medicine, to continue with cinema.
Oh, that's a scoop on CRTV. Otia Vitalis thinking of stepping out, not thinking, actually planning to soon step out of the lab and of medicine to get full-time into film. It does well with you, you know, the film. When we watch you, people really enjoyed you on Bad Angel and on other images that you can go have a look at on YouTube and on different screens around the country and beyond. But let's talk a little bit more about the film industry. We've been hearing about a number of rendezvous, a number of moments, and that's good. It speaks well. It shows that something is moving in the film industry in Cameroon. But tell me, from your own standpoint, is it moving forward? Are you satisfied with the film industry in Cameroon?
I would have been satisfied if all the players actually engaged in the game, because the film industry, to move forward completely, we need to have the business community who are coming in with the money. We need to have the government that must come with a policy to guide this baby industry that is facing already established big industries. And thirdly, we have the actual players, the filmmakers in Cameroon, who are doing just their best. I think so far they have put in their all. That is why we are where we are.
Okay, we're having an excerpt of some images of Bad Angel going on there on our screen. But I want you to have a comment, to give us a comment on the Bad Angel. Tell me talk to me about your team, the team behind Bad Angel. How would you describe the persons that we see in that movie and the putting together of the movie? I see you smile, so it's probably a very good, interesting experience.
It is a very interesting experience. I would say that Bad Angel was shot and done completely in Cameroon by a cast and crew, completely Cameroonians. No expatriate, no expertise from outside.
A good example of a success story. It is a wonderful success story.
It is a success story for Cameroonians, and to say that Cameroonians too can do it, and do it even better than what we import from outside. And that's why we got what we got on Bad Angel. And to say that it was a very difficult experience because there were no sponsors. There was no real money. This thing was done in partnership with CRTV. CRTV delayed until the end of 2016
to start the payment.
You know, but we actually started shooting in 2015. So you could see that it was
a lot of sacrifice
on the part of the cast and the crew.
So beyond, I'm talking about sacrifice and putting wonderful things together in difficult situations. I want to applaud Brenda Elung with her series Samba, which is now featuring in Fespaco.
Yes, sure.
So it's a wonderful story as well. Yes. So let's talk about the industry per se at this moment. What do you think are some of the things that should be done to promote the efforts that are being put in beyond money? I mean, that's an eternal problem, and it's going to continue coming, and we will not cease talking about it. But beyond money, what are some of those little things, little efforts that people can, or institutions can get in?
Can do. Yes, I would start with an upcoming event, which is the Kama Awards that's coming. The government has showed a lot of goodwill. The government has done a lot. The government has embraced it completely. is giving them an office in the Ministry of Arts and Culture, the Department of Cinematography and Audiovisual Productions. So they are actually lodged there, and the government is doing a lot to try to hold some sponsors, bring them in. This is just what we expect. And we know that by the time that the government shows to the world that, no, look, this is my baby, these sponsors, they have money for that. There are people, there are companies with social responsibilities, social corporate responsibilities that must support the film industry. And the film industry is going to do a lot to sell their products. So I think that this is the first step, and the government should just continue.
All right.
That's all we want. And secondly, we want the legislature to do something, to put down laws and really secure this baby, because it's still fragile, because we have already established industries like Nollywood, Bollywood in India, and not talk of Hollywood.
Okay.
These are huge industries that we can, copy from them. Their governments are doing a lot to put in so much money to move them forward.
Okay. If you were to talk, though, to your colleagues, maybe to say, give a word of advice or a word of in solidarity or something, if you were to speak to them, what would you say? Because there should be a few watching us right now and waiting to hear something from you.
Yes, I will call on all filmmakers in Cameroon, both Francophone and Anglophone, because a lot of times when we are doing things, people think that, no, this is just for Anglophone. No. The Kama Awards will be in Yaoundé.
Okay.
This is the capital of Cameroon. So it's for every filmmaker in Cameroon, from the north to the south, from east to west. Now we are submitting films. Submit whatever film you have done, no matter the quality, no matter submit it, and who knows?
Who knows?
Tomorrow you might just pick up a prize, or you might reveal a character that will be used all the time. So we need to know everybody who is in this domain in Cameroon.
Okay, thank you very much. Kama Awards is definitely a moment that we'll be keeping our ears close to, so that we'll constantly update you. Otia Vitalis, it's quite early into the year. Any projects, any activity, anything you want to share with us about your career?
Yes, there are lots of projects that are coming up. We are planning to do a lot of feature films. Unfortunately, we have locations in the northwest and the southwest, and things are not too stable. That's why we plan to launch as soon as January, but we are still waiting, and we are praying that everything should normalize so that we can move forward. You know, cinema is the widest door to every culture.
Indeed.
And we think that to sell Cameroon, we're not going to only earn at football, but cinema will do the rest.
Yes.
The rest. Yes.
Thank you very much. I wish you a lot of success in what you're doing, and please keep inspiring. You do inspire, and a host of others as well. If you're watching us and you're into the culture world and you're doing something, however small, Pochi is interested, let me know, let my team know, and we'll happily meet you where you are and share with the world. Otia Vitalis, thank you for coming. Have a beautiful day ahead.
Thank you, Pochi.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
Now let's have a moment of advertisement before we continue.
Good morning, Mrs. Camden. I see that your pregnancy is moving along smoothly. Malaria is very dangerous for pregnant women and can cause miscarriages. So, I am going to give you a preventive treatment, and it's taken us from the 4th month of pregnancy. I hope that you are sleeping under your treated net, which you received free of charge during your first prenatal consultation. These two methods are effective to prevent malaria. Malaria is dangerous to the pregnant woman and her baby. Intermittent preventive treatment protects them.
Enjoy 1000% for girls. SMS in data jackpot 100 francs, 200 francs, 250 francs, and 300 francs.
Nextel, the best 3G network in Cameroon.
Thank you for staying with the CRTV, and most importantly, for waking up with us. You're doing just well. Now let's take you for a sports moment. This is coming from Betwa.
Hello Cameroon, and welcome to Betwa, the land of the rising sun, where in a couple of days the indomitable lions are going to be coming to this town like they've done all over the country. And CRTV is going to give you an up-to-date news on what's happening. So we're going to be visiting areas and how people are preparing to receive the lions. They have already started a party out here because it's a symbol of unity, patriotism and love. We are going to meet some people. Hello, how are you? What is your name?
My name is Nkamfo Max from Santa in Awe.
What are you doing in Betwa?
I just have my business fair and I'm an entrepreneur.
What message are you sending to the lions to congratulate them?
I congratulate them because I saw what they have done. That's to make Cameroon to reunite, and we are there to wait them here in safety.
How prepared are you to receive them?
No, we are prepared very much. I think that you have seen everything that we have already done to wait for them. So we are waiting for them so much.
I'm called Dwa Iwi Victor. As a young Cameroonian, having this privilege to welcome the lions on their tour to Betwa, we have first of all been touched that our country for several number of years came from nowhere and had the opportunity to carry the trophy in Africa. We are the leader of Africa today in terms of football. So, being privileged to host the Lions, I think it is a great opportunity. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to wed the Lion team from Cameroon. We have prepared plenty things. Then I have a surprise for many persons.
On les attend, ce plan sommes chargés. DJ Kalash, depuis que le selfie, Crémy et Betwa, nous sommes chargés à bloquer, on les attend. Ça va gâter. On a une surprise, on les réserve ici. Et on va les montrer qu'ici aussi à l'Est, on sait faire des choses aussi.
Les Lions, on va toujours continuer à les encourager. On va se préparer comme il se faut pour les accueillir dans la joie et leur donner tous les honneurs. Donc comme ça, on prépare une grande fête ici au Twist. Comme le chef de l'État nous l'a bien dit dans l'un de son discours, les Lions sont de retour.
That's how the COP is being prepared for. It's actually and currently on its way down south after the far north. And if you are in Betwa, of course, you will be having an opportunity very soon to see that COP that Cameroon won recently during the CAN competition. Now let's take you to the Buncha. It's actually one of the coldest places in the world. It seems it's the coldest place on the continent. And Prince Omokwele is there, or did a report in the Buncha. This is how it looked like.
Dibuncha is both a roadside habitation and live by the shores. Like localities lined up along the ocean waters, the history of Dibuncha is traced to settlers.
Our grandparents were migrated from Isangele and Barombi Koto around the Atlantic coastal areas of the southern Cameroon. So they migrated in those days when the times of the plebiscite, when Dibuncha was being colonized by the Germans. A banana plantation was around Dibuncha here, which were food exportation from Cameroon to Germany and Equatorial Guinea in those days. So when our people were working with them, when they were paying money, some of them decided to be buying nets and because they had the ideologies of fishing.
And so it came to be known, Dibuncha, the wettest place in West Africa that grows its crops within and out of season.
I came here to buy fresh corn. This is the time that corn at Dibuncha, you have fresh corn. January, February, this is the time that rain didn't fall yet too much as October.
Located 30 kilometers from Limbe, chief town of Fako division, Dibuncha is fast becoming a point of interest for local development.
So many people only hear in the histories the name Natiga, but they don't know where Natiga has been found. But Natiga is found in Dibuncha, a very big lake, and it is even difficult to go there, except somebody carries you there. And the council is trying to do some development so that tourists can come and visit the lake, especially those from Germany who will come and see what their ancestors
left behind. So I think before CAN 2019, that lake will at least arrange it very well so that tourists will come and see, so that they can, by the time they will be going back, they will drop some coins to the council.
While the fields remain green for all to see, Dibuncha, reconditioned by the effects of climate change, reserves a surprise to visitors.
The first and the only thing is rainfall. Because in those days when we grew up, one of those things that you could hear is that the place with the heaviest rainfall in West Africa is the Buncha. That's how I grew up. And by 2005, there was sea rain almost on a daily basis. This is 2017. And you see that there's no much rain again. Here, when you talk of the climate here, it's just maybe micro at the level here. But the total effect of all what we are doing, the person who is in the desert at the extreme north, the person who is in the forest region in Manfred, and every other person, all our activities, they sum up to have this effect that we are experiencing. It does not mean that if every other place they are cutting down trees and the Buncha we are not doing it, you will have rain in the Buncha. No. I've been here since 2005. I came here as the director of the Young Fishermen Training Center. In those days, it was under the Ministry of Livestock. We were doing our training, which was modular, short courses. 2 months, 1 month, 2 weeks. And after some time, the project ended. And a second project came, AFOP, which is under CDD, and took me as the director of the resource center. The resource center here at the resource center, we train the people we call monitors. They are trainers.
The sister training center grooms young Cameroonians interested in fenning from the resources of the area.
AFOP is a project that will give a young man who hasn't got a job but needed a job, will go by training himself for fishing, particularly for fishing, and after these activities, the project will finance the activities and he will go out for a profession.
Like it's the obvious, Dibuncha remains the one destination in Cameroon and perhaps West Africa.
It's definitely a destination for fishing. I mean, if you want fresh fish, you definitely always get it in Dibuncha. But it's sad there to notice that it's also bending to the whims of climate change. But then that's how the world is, you know, things are changing, and we need all to adapt to a new life and a new way of living. Now, let's give you an aperçu of what our entertainment page on CRTV is going to be looking like in 2007. This is a moment packaged together to give you an understanding of what we intend to give you in terms of entertainment on the CRTV.
Bonjour, je viens vous annoncer une bonne nouvelle pour nous et pour vous aussi, je l'espère.
Votre programme sur votre chaîne préférée, encore plus fun, plus d'ambiance et plus de mouvance.
C'est un nouveau challenge, un nouveau défi et nous, vous savez, les défis, on achète.
Nous allons lever la barre encore plus loin, encore plus haut, afin de vous satisfaire davantage.
The society is evolving, your expectations changing. We're innovating to give you content that is just the best. So stay connected and don't blink.
Don't blink. Parce que c'est un programme spécialement conçu pour vous et parce que nous voulons être partout avec vous.
La bonne nouvelle, c'est qu'on se retrouve
sur la CRTV.
Autre divertissement, Bimbia Survivor, Comedy Lane. Les Wayforts et théâtralement vôtre.
We're gradually but slowly moving towards the end of the program. And I want to share with you this saying. It says, even a stopped clock is right twice a day. This actually is just to tell you that there's no situation that is 100% black, and there is nobody who is 100% bad. Even a stopped clock is right twice a day. I feel like recommitting to you, and until I don't think you're fed up yet. So let's try this. CRTV recommitting and telling you this is how we want to have you entertained, informed, and enjoying yourself in 2017. All the stars of the CRTV committing to you. Here we go again.
Parce que l'info n'attend pas.
We bring it to you firsthand.
Because your life is dynamic.
Nous nous adaptons à vos attentes.
Parce que vous méritez ce qu'il y a de mieux.
We are up to date with technology. Parce que vous êtes mobile.
We bring the news to you wherever you are.
Parce que vous êtes notre miroir, nous vous montrerons le monde like you've never seen it before.
Parce que vos victoires sont les nôtres.
We are on all fronts.
Because you are precious.
En 2017, partageons ce que nous avons de mieux.
CRTV, au cœur de la nation.
I'm not fed up yet. You have to watch that a little bit more until you say stop. If you have not said stop and I haven't heard it, we'll keep committing to serving you better. That's Hello Cameroon as we saw you today. Thank you for staying with the CRTV. Please stay with us. The best is still to come. At 11 o'clock, you have Follow Me, a moment with the women. 1 hour of exceptional moments, I usually say, with two powerful ladies leading you into another issue that concerns the woman's world. They say her world is the world of the world. So please stay with us. That's how we saw it. I usually end by saying the best part of each game is a chance to play. If you find yourself in a game, please play hard and enjoy it. See you on Thursday. Tomorrow, Eric Christian Yang, my bosom brother and friend, will be here for Bonjour, le Cameroun. Until then, bye-bye.
Omale.